All right. I think the first people should already be able to hear us and hopefully also see us. Sorry for that. We had a slight delay due to some technical difficulties. As you can see, Alex and Tommy are now on the same screen, walking in. Yeah, that's it. Sorry for the slight delay, but now we are all here at our 13th onocoy monthly recap and AMA. Yeah, 13 actually. We're already doing these more than a year, and it's nice. I can already see a lot of people that we have regularly in these sessions being in the comments, and I will just briefly check if actually now we're live on all the platforms where we aim to be live, but I think it should be working. So I think we can actually get started more or less directly. Today, a slight difference to the one that we've had last time at the I think it was end of February, end of December, right, where we had like a yearly recap thing. Now this time it's actually a bit back to normal. However, we have one additional speaker who is usually not a normal set. So yeah, I think you guys already know Lucy and you guys already know Thomas. But maybe before we actually get started, Alex, you can maybe talk a little bit about your role at onocoy and what you are doing.
Thanks, Dominic. Actually, it's my second time. So the ones that are following all the sessions would probably remember me. But yeah, my most of my activities is around business development and basically on the demand side, finding people who really make something out of the data that miners provide to us. And I'm here today for good reason. There are good news, and I'd like to give you some updates on it.
Perfect. Nice. Well, then, actually, you are the first point on our agenda anyways, so feel free to dive right in.
Sure. Okay, so hello everyone again. Great to see you. I'll start first with a look back. We released the first product in August 24, so roughly 1.5 years ago. In the first phase, we were a bit in the discovery phase and creating awareness with our first product, onocoy RTK, which is single base nearest station RTK. But the main traction started actually as planned beginning of last year, 25, after we started working on a B2B solution for larger clients. It was announced already that we have already some larger clients buying our data, which is, it's converting into the MRR, monthly recurring revenues. And just 2 weeks ago, we signed another one, and the largest one. The interesting thing was that every new one was larger, even for an order of magnitude. So the last one is really big. And now speaking a little bit about the revenues, just that you get a feeling how it's developing. So end of 24, just introduction of the product. We started very low at roughly $1,000 per month MRR, and then with the push on the B2B segment during 2025, we were able to come to around 20 to 30,000 end of the year MRR US dollars, which further increased in January. So what I can tell you additionally is we have a higher double-digit growth month on month, not year on year, month on month of the MRR. And as for the pipeline for 26, it looks very strong. So we can continue with this growth, which actually, when you put on a graph, looks already quite exponential. Just for you, for orientation, last year we made somewhere close to 150,000 US dollars in revenue. Then what I can also add here, I think would be interesting for you to know, what have we learned in this on this journey on creating really attraction in the market is number one, and with something that is very important also for our community to know, is the demand. Demand is amazing. We are in this time window where really all the new applications that make use of the RTK. So we have this, let's say, traditional legacy market where you have mostly surveyors, construction applications. It's pretty niche market now completely unfolding into the direction of robotics and autonomous. And I would say at the moment, the biggest drive actually comes from the robotics. For instance, one of the biggest end users, so it's a clients of our clients, are the lawnmower solutions. But we see also slowly autonomous vehicles kicking in, and that's gonna unfold over the next 5 to 10 years and generate additional push to the growth. You have to also imagine these markets are by far larger than the traditional legacy markets I mentioned. They have also their own specialities. They have a different way how they need the products. It's more about reliability, not so much about accuracy. But without going too much into details, I just want to create you the picture of where the journey is going to. And having said that, I want to underline that we need your help. Why? As I said, demand is crazy. That means we need supply. So supply. That's the magic word for the next year or two. And in the terms of Web3, we can say we built a rocket. It's here. That's the onocoy rocket. And we all want to go to the moon, right? But to get to the moon, we need enough of fuel, and that's the supply. So I would just repeat again, miners are more than welcome everywhere, basically. I would also mention some regions like Southeast Asia, Northern Europe, Latin America, but also in North America, some extra stations are definitely welcome. There is one more point I want to touch on, which is very important, I would say, both for demand but also for supply, and it gives us some leverage in the further growth. These are partnerships. We announced many partnerships over the last 12 months, but I want to just give you a few points that are really driving the growth in the next period. We're going to come very quickly with the concept of dual mining. So we are partnering with the one more company in the deep-in space. Very exciting project. So what is it about? Just in a nutshell, it would be an option to if you're already a deep-in miner, you could just add one more sensor and then have a double benefit. And moreover, the sensors are actually benefiting from each other, the information. Very soon we will come up with this announcement, but it's also, I would say, it's something that will create additional attractiveness for the project. Then there will be soon partnership with a company that produces hardware. We want to bring, as you all know, we are hardware agnostic, but we also are trying to create or to bring more of the hardware into our ecosystem, because that's something that miners need, and this is something that was a bit maybe tricky. What hardware I take, then what is the best value for money, and so on. So we are coming with something that is a high performance, very good price point, and is very easy to install all in one. This will also be announced soon. And last but not least is our hardware OEM partnerships. What is it about? It's about boosting our onocoy RTK product, the first one that we released. So what we are doing here is we actually hand out vouchers to OEM producers of our rovers. So these are the devices that use ultimately the RTK correction. And to create more awareness about us, so that people can also try out our service, and to do something more on the promotion. Yeah, so that would be from the demand side. I'm happy to take more questions now or later, but yeah.
Alex, how would you say, what is your feeling towards the coming year? What is your feeling about 2026?
Yeah, so I mentioned the exponential function. I see that exponential function unfolding further, and this is really backed by a strong pipeline we have. I mentioned also it's a pipeline, and the partnerships that we are pursuing in the next period will give us much more space for growth.
All right. Well, one thing I actually didn't mention at the beginning, which I usually do, so in case you guys missed it, obviously this is not just a session where we are talking ourselves, but you guys are very, very welcome to put your questions into the chat, right? So this is an AMA session, so whenever you have a question, either with regards to something that we are talking about already, maybe to some of the things that Alex was just mentioning, or something else, feel free to ask it in the chat, and then we try to take it in. Before we continue, Tommy, anything you want to add on the commercial part, on the updates with regards to our clients and potential partners?
Say if it's for the demand side, there isn't so much I want to add. I mean, it's actually really encouraging to show, or now to see, that what we are building is really sought after. So there is a demand, and I think it's clear that the customers want it. 3 years ago, we said we believe, with all our experience from the industry. Now we know it's real, and this is a rare thing for startups to really see a good growth on the demand side. We do have that problem, and it's ironic. We're now more supply limited than demand limited. Now, if I have to have one of the problems, then I'd rather have the supply limitation, because here we can do something about it, and we are working on it, and we're addressing it, and we're learning a lot, to be fair. But not having a demand, so if people don't care what you're doing, that it would be very frustrating. So yes, it's encouraging to see it. It's inspiring us, and it's giving us also a lot of momentum. Everybody knows now why we're doing what we're doing every day, and that hopefully also spills over to the community, that this is something hot. People want that.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, okay, then I would say we continue with the next section, which is the launch of some new HVAs, so high value areas, for everybody who's not aware of that means, because there is actually specific demand in certain new areas aside to the ones that we have already launched. So Lucy and Tommy, I think you guys are supposed to be talking a little bit about that, right?
Yeah, we can. I may start. So as you know, we launched the high value area feature last fall. It's a interesting feature. We had manual predecessors last summer, where we had quite some success in some areas, not so much success in other areas. So the growth was very diverse across regions. We developed then the tool. It's a highly configurable tool, and we have run first experiments last, was it November, December-ish. With Alex being in our ears for more demand, we want to put this now into works on a larger scale. He mentioned that he would love to see, or actually it's not only him, but it's our customers, that we would like to see growth notably in the Nordics, and that's what we do. So in February, step by step, we launch high value areas, larger scale high value areas in Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, obviously, and a bit later we'll probably also add Estonia. We will not keep this in very small dots, so city by city. We do larger chunks of the countries. We allocate enough tokens into these areas to allow for a dozen or so stations to be benefiting from this. We're not specifying a single dot. So we leave it up to our community to choose where they can put the station. And this will naturally work because the location scale feature in the background makes sure that not everybody will be on top of each other. But we also put enough tokens into each of the high value areas that it's not exhausted after one or two stations are there. So we can and will do this. Again, starting as of not February 1st or 2nd, but in the first half of February, we're planning it. We do the communication along, and we will also work with our hardware partners for some promotional activities. So stay tuned. If you are located in any of these countries, then that's obviously of immediate interest. But if you have friends or relatives or colleagues there, tell them about it. It's really a big opportunity, and yeah. So lots going on. We will add more station outside the Nordics later, but we do now a concerted effort in these places because I think this is what grows the coverage best. And our customers are asking for nationwide coverage, not patches here and there. So that's why we do this. And yeah. Anything you want to add, Lucy?
Yeah, for me, what is really exciting about these new high value areas is what you also mentioned, is that it's not a small spot. So because before, if you were to make 5 times the total rewards, you had to especially go to this specific city to deploy a station or a little area. But now we're taking on whole countries. So that's really exciting for me.
Yeah. It's definitely a lesson learned also from the early experimentation with the phases. So yeah, we're learning, we're improving, and we're striving for the best.
And I would just directly continue here with a question from Stefan, whether we have some concrete example numbers about the supply increase in the existing HVAs. Is that something you have available?
Don't have it ready, but we do have we have very small patches where we were searching 1 or 2 stations. I think 2 of them were filled. The others are not yet filled. I don't have checked it just the other day, so it's maybe a bit dated. But these narrow patches are usually not easily filled. That's also one of the reasons why we allow the community to choose where they can, because it's a pity. You can do it here, but you just happen to be 500 meters outside a high value area. Now it's at your discretion. It makes sense if we're not too close to another one, and then it works. So yeah. So yes, some success, but not the big success if we do these narrow patches.
Yeah. And I think also maybe that's another question that we could put in here right now. And maybe, I'm not sure, Alex, if that's something that would be something for you to answer, if there is actually any sort of difference.
So as I mentioned in the beginning, we have the legacy markets being more in that surveying construction niche. They would have some differences from the continent to continent. Now coming to the, let's call them new large emerging markets that are introduced by the new technologies, there would be not really a big difference, because I give you an example. If you're selling a lawnmower, you want to sell it globally. So it would have same requirements if you sell it in Dubai or you sold it in London. So it's, I would say, I wouldn't say there are differences.
Okay, fair enough. Then let me check real quick. I think on Cronzer, I see your questions. I would put them a little bit at the end, if that's okay for you, and continue with the next section, which would be the hardware decision tree, which will be shown by Lucy.
Yes, thank you, Dominic. For that, I would like to share my screen. Yeah, because we have a new feature on our website. And that is a feature for new miners especially. So that should help you to find the right hardware. So if you're on our website now and you go to mining hardware, we have a little questionnaire prepared for you to find your perfect onocoy station. And it guides you a little bit through the different hardware that we have, because we got feedback. We do have many partners, and like, what is the right fit for me? So you start with the question, what kind of station do you want to set up? Is it more a basic one, or are you okay with a little bit more settings, more GNSS features? We also ask you, would you like to have a bundle? So everything in one, antenna, receiver, cables, everything? Or are you okay with components, because you might have already some antenna receivers? So you can choose here as well. Let me choose bundle for now. And then also, how can your station be connected? Because this is an important point for the hardware, whether your receiver can be connected to the internet via Ethernet or Wi-Fi, or only mobile, because that could also be the case for some people. So I can choose, like, for example, these two. And then how should your receiver be powered, by Ethernet directly or power plug? I'm going rather simple. I can have it by power plug. Now you can choose, where do you want to ship your station to, because some partners have restrictions on the country. So let me choose our home country, Switzerland, and then you can look at the results here. So you have the best fit for you based on what I said in the answers. We have some selected hardwares for you, and we also have alternative options. And then with the links here, you can directly go to the shops of our partners and choose the right hardware. You can also take it again, so feel free to check it out. We have all our hardware partners in the results. Depending on your answers, you will have a suggestion on what you can have, in this decision tree.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks. And if I may add, I think this is really going to be super helpful, especially for people that are new to the industry, right? And don't have the deep technical knowledge, because it just makes it much simpler to figure out what kind of setup you would need, what kind of differences there might be, and how you can actually get started as easy as possible, right? So instead of having to dig through all this sort of information and figuring all the things out yourself, this is the easiest way to really, figure out what you want. So in case anyone of you listening has somebody who might be interested in it, you can send them the hardware decision tree, which is literally just on the website, and they can figure a lot of the things out for themselves in a very, very simple way. So I do believe that this is a really good onboarding kind of mechanism for increasing the supply, which we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, then we don't really have any other specific area to talk about, so I would jump and go a little bit into the questions. And I would start with this one, and I assume, Tommy, that probably this is something that you can have a brief answer to.
Now we're on mute. Okay. Yeah, we're preparing that, but the primary focus is now on getting the trading volume up, and especially as a consequence of our increased sales volume, we will also have see more token buybacks and burns. So that's phase one. We're pushing this in phase one. In phase two, we will then add more listings, probably initially more on DEX before we go on centralized exchange. I don't have a firm confirmed roadmap in the say this is April or this is July, but we certainly keep working towards this. Yes.
No. Right. Then also keep in mind that's why also decentralized exchange listings make much more sense, because listing fees on centralized exchanges are ridiculously high. So this is something we have to take into account as well. Lucy, another one that is probably more something for you.
Yeah, so Kronzo, judging by the onocoy Dune dashboard, there doesn't seem to be a huge demand. Let me share the Dune dashboard. So for those of you who don't know, this is a website platform where you can check on many details about the Ono token and the onocoy project in general. So you have so many numbers that you can look into. Also, like, for example, the holders, the valuation, the price, etc. And at the very bottom, you will find the graph about the cumulative data credits burned. That means how many data credits have been used to buy data streams. So the more data credits burned, the more streams have been bought. And as you can see, the demand and the buying of streams started in 2024, and then in 2025 it got us like higher then. And recently we really have the exponential function, as Alex already explained. So currently we are again up by a lot, and it's increasing. You might find here this. So this is the day on day.
Lucy, can I add?
Yes, please.
Yes, if you show the upper, so this is the cumulative picture. Here you see the upper board, and here you might get actually the impression that everything is very low. Now the problem is this is an automatic chart, and it's distorted by this one spike whenever it was about the month.
No?
A large trial with.
Yes.
Can you still hear us?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we got a warning that we were lost. Okay, so there was a large spike because we had agreed on a trial with a customer. We allocated obviously too many data credits to this trial, way more than what was needed. The result was at some time, most likely the end of the year, but I'm not entirely sure when it was, these data credit expires and were burned. This was one singular event, commercially irrelevant because the trial was just at the end and we had allocated way too many tokens for the trial. Commercially, it was a big success because we signed up the customer and the customer is buying, and they see these step functions when we add new customers or when existing customers go to a next level of consumption. So without this distortion, the picture would actually look more convincing. But it's an artifact, and it's a bit unfortunate that it gives the wrong impression. But I can completely follow in Kronzer that he thinks it's not growing fast. It's very small. Actually, we're pretty happy with how it grows, and it's distorted by this artifact.
Yeah, and that's why I also like to look at this chart for the cumulative data credits burned, because there you can really see the trend. There you can see that it's more demand than before. So more streams are being consumed than before. Yes. And there's a follow-up question by Kronzer.
I think so too, exactly.
How are data credits linked to direct ono burn? Well, so we use the data credit income to buy back the ono token. But Tommy, you are the professional for this question, I guess.
Yes, the data credits are a good indication, but it's a bit indirect, because on the data credit you see how much data is consumed. High volume consumer or clients obviously benefit from some rebates. So not every data credit is equally valued. Comes on top that for early trials, we sometimes give out free trials. Now, what is more, but ultimately, if the data credit consumption goes, the income, the fiat income also grows, but it's not a one-to-one relationship. But you have heard from Alex before that we have this growth rate of, say, 35% month over month. That's what's then hidden behind this data credits, but in dollars. And here, I cannot make, for regulatory reasons, I cannot make commitments on what we do, but I can say we have used 80% of the fiat to buy back tokens. So the token buybacks have also gone up. And 25% of the tokens bought back are burnt, and 75% of them are then fed back to the reward pool.
Yeah, nice. Then,
mind you, we also show how much we burn. We do this typically in a monthly burn event. So we don't do this daily. We do this in a monthly burn event with the months coming to a close. The next event is approaching.
Yeah. Let me briefly check. I think there was another question. Well, I think, if I'm not completely wrong, this was basically already answered by you, Tommy, right? The DC credit directly.
The plan is that miners benefit from the growing income from data sales through buyback and burn. Yes, there are other incentive schemes like the high value areas, if applicable, or for high quality devices. There is the streak appreciation, which allows you to earn an extra 50% if performance remains good on the long term. Now, we mentioned this before. There is another feature in the works. It's the usage rewards. So in areas where there is heavy usage of data, we will allocate a certain part of the revenues directly to the miners of this region. We'll announce the feature when it comes. It's not going to come in February. It's an effort to build it, but it's in the works. And yes, it's an extra incentive, which is, it's not linking the revenue to the very station, but it's linking the revenue from a region to the stations of this region. And it's intentional this way, because we always need a backup station. No station can guarantee 100%. So only if we have a network of station there, we can sell data. But yes, so it doesn't have to be on a country level. It can be on a smaller level, but it's certainly linking data usage in a region to the income the miners achieve in this region. And that's on top of the base rewards, so on the top of what I said before.
Yeah. Right. Then another question from Stefan. I would assume probably, I don't know if there is any projections, but yeah, maybe Tommy, you can also check it, or Lucy also, if you have something to add here.
If I do, it's a bit of back of the envelope. Don't have a ready to answer, but I think we're buying back, if it's just for the core economics without the distortions of tokens being bought or sold from the pre-sale or from any other activity, investment activity. I think we would probably have to a bit more than double the data buyback volume to have an equilibrium. So we're still in this cold start phase where we rely on miners to hodl at least a significant portion of their tokens in order to have a balance. But what I'm also saying, with the growth, we're approaching the let's call it the economic equilibrium. What people then do, whether they hodl or not, that's a different question. And obviously, the entire ecosystem is built on the assumption that people hodl at least a certain portion of their tokens in order to allow for the value appreciation, but more importantly, to benefit from the value appreciation. This is obviously true for the team, where we enforce hodling by locking investing, same for investors. But on the miners, where we don't hodl or don't enforce hodl, so we intentionally left it open to the miners to do what they find right. We obviously count to some extent on hodling. And I know, and we have proven this also in a scientific paper about 2 years ago, that 100% hodling rate may not always be perfect, the wisest, but it's clear that the 0% hodling rate will also make it very hard for us to get out of the cold start phase. And which means that we're going for a prolonged period of this initial low valuation phase. But it's clear, if you look at, and I did this back of the envelope calculation today, if you look at the true valuation and don't look at CoinGecko, because there they assume a much higher free float than what we really have. But on Dune dashboard, you would see a valuation of 1.3 million. Now, with the current MRR, that's a multiple of about 3, which is a normal valuation for a company in a steady state. But a company like ours, with a 35% monthly growth rate, a multiple of 3 is just a joke. So therefore, you see we're in this early phase where things need to settle until you really see the potential. We hodl, but obviously we cannot enforce it, and it may also not be the wisest thing for everybody. But in general, with hodling, there is a clear upside potential, massive upside potential.
Yep. All right. I think I did not oversee any question. If I did so, I'm sorry, guys. But I think we answered them all. So I would say enjoy your evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. And thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. Next month, same procedure as with the 14th onocoy monthly recap and AMA. This was the 13th one. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye-bye.